Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, guiding you through the trails of Glacier National Park. And today we are honored to have a special guest in studio with us, Denny Olson. The trails of Glacier Park would not be what they are if we didn't have birds, if there wasn't birding in the park, if there weren't so many fun species to observe and learn more about. And that's what the show is about today. And Denny, I'm going to let you introduce yourself also, but my perception of we've crossed paths and acquainted a little bit professionally, and I'm going to call you, if I may, a Renaissance man, which even defined as a highly versatile, exceptionally well-rounded individual who possesses deep knowledge and proficiencies across a wide variety of subjects, often spanning both the arts and the sciences. Is that fair?
I would call that, I don't know what I want to do if I grow up.
Okay. Yes, too many interests and passions, but I guess that's what makes you who you are. And if you could, go ahead and introduce yourself, let everybody else know, our listeners know who you are, where you're coming from.
Well, it's a long and sordid history, but I'll try to really be brief. I grew up in northern Minnesota, in cold country, in loon country, and wolf country, that sort of thing. So it wasn't much of a change to come out here, except for elevation and cougars and things like that. But I for most of my life, I've been a nature educator. And what that translated to, I started out as an Audubon educator at a small nature center near where I grew up, actually, a small town. And then from there, I moved to an outdoor school, which served 10,000 kids per year way up in the northern part of Minnesota next to the Boundary Waters for about 4 years as program director up there. And then from there, I decided to go off on my own and travel and because when I was up there, I developed these theatrical, humorous, goofy productions with Critter Man and Professor Avian Guano and The Mad Herbalist and
Doc Wild. What about Doc Wild?
We've met one of those.
Yeah. And so I decided to take it on the road, and I actually was on the road for doing that for quite a long time. I did a lot of presentations and storytelling training at lots and lots of statewide conferences. I actually ended up working in every state except Hawaii. So for over 49 states over all those years, plus a couple of provinces too. And so I was, but I got sick of traveling. Airports are pretty dull, and so I decided to move west, and one thing led to another, and met my sweetie Mary Jo, and we kind of settled into Kalispell, Montana, and I was next to Glacier National Park, and then the park hired me to write the nature and science sections for the website, which are nature doesn't change, so they're still there. and also I did a big curriculum about almost a foot thick of K through 12 curriculum for the International Peace Park. And at that time, the Glacier Institute was rolling, and so they hired me to come and do a couple of programs. And then from there, it moved to, I was still on the road a little bit, but phasing that out quite a bit, doing right here. And then from here, from there, I just have been doing similar things, but less and less and less travel for work and more travel for fun. So that's kind of the way it's
Okay. Well, we're Midwesterners originally. Sarah, Michigan, myself, northern Wisconsin. In fact, so far north that you couldn't go more than 5 blocks to Lake Superior. So I'm kind of curious. In Minnesota, where were you?
Oh, I did my undergrad in Duluth and my master's on loons, which probably is appropriate in one metaphorical sense too. and I lived in Duluth for quite some time. But I grew up about 60 miles south of Duluth, in a little town close to Wisconsin called Sandstone. And then where were you in northern Wisconsin?
Washburn, Wisconsin, next to Bayfield, Apostle Islands.
I worked at the Sigurd Olson Institute for a while too.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so you know what?
Northland College.
Northland College. Yeah.
Nice. Well, there are a lot of us. I'll say us when I mean Midwesterners here in Montana, because as you said, there's a beckoning, a call to go west, and once we get here, it's hard not to stay
It's
and
really
enjoy.
hard not to stay, and we always want to close the door behind us too.
That's fair enough. You can't blame others for enjoying the same things we enjoy.
Can't do it.
But we're definitely big fans of Glacier. We've met you in a few different ways. Sarah recently heard some educational content from you. I know she was impressed. Sarah, he's a storyteller. What did you make of this Denny Olson?
Well, I enjoyed Denny's stories, and obviously I really enjoy wildlife and birding as well. I'm definitely not at the level you are, but I love just hearing the little ins and outs of all the different species of birds that I love so much that I haven't heard of, and I know you're going to dive into that later, so I'm excited for you to share that with everyone as well.
It's a lot of fun for me. I'm a birdologist. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Nice. So I guess let's maybe start there, or as we get into it, Glacier National Park. Birds, amazing birds in this area, from the smallest of songbirds to the largest birds of prey in this area. I mean, you've got everything from start to finish when it comes to the bird species. And maybe just if you'd like to, dig into some of your favorites and why you enjoy those birds.
One of the things that's underestimated is people look at birds as for our enjoyment, but they're way deeper and more important than that. Birds have been around, according to the archaeologists and anthropologists and geologists, about as long as the dinosaurs. But they made it, and the dinosaurs didn't, and that speaks well of them. And so, when something has been around, according to the anthropologists, when something's been around for 550 times longer than humans have been walking as Homo sapiens for a while, that is a very, very, very long time, and it should produce in us a sense of humility because they are successful, and we're the new kid on the block, and I'm not sure how well we're doing, and so it's kind of they did things like invented music. We wouldn't have music without listening to birds all that time. Yeah. They control the insect population with spiders and bats. If we didn't have spiders, bats, and we've got 10 quintillion insects in the world, some of them not friendly. And
hooray for birds.
Yeah, I know.
Big shout out to birds.
Yeah. But they're also really essential because of pollination and things like that. So it's all a balanced kind of a system. But the birds help it keep it in balance because there's 400 billion birds in the world. Wow. That's a lot. And 18,000 perhaps species of birds in the world. And if it wasn't for them eating all of those insects and all of their helpers like the bats and the spiders, we'd be dead because most of the vegetation on planet Earth would be wiped right out quickly because insects can reproduce so fast. Yeah. So they keep the thing balanced for sure. And they're farmers. They eat seeds and they poop somewhere else, and so that means that they've spread plants all around the world because birds can go everywhere, literally everywhere, over the North Pole, over the South Pole, and everywhere else, and so that's their coolest. And they're the cleanup crew. They're the first responders when somebody dies in the woods. The ravens and the crows and the jays and including the vultures. And so they're really important from that perspective. Bird watching contributes $100 billion to our U.S. Economy every year and employs 700,000 people.
Wow.
And it's the fastest growing outdoor pursuit in the world, everywhere. And also they're the indicators of our environment. When birds are reproducing, every single being below them, all the way down to the microbes, has to be healthy for them to be sitting at the top of 18,000 different food webs. Everything below them has to be healthy too, otherwise they don't exist. And so they're indicators. If they're doing well with reproduction, we're doing well. They are perfect indicators of the health of the planet. So that's what's cool about birds.
Nice, Denny. We were barely scratching the surface here. with Denny, and we've got some more things to talk about and get into some more details about favorite bird species and things like that. But we're going to take a short break. Stick with us. We've got more to learn.
As Josh and Sarah from Hiking Fools will tell you, a great hike starts with the right gear. And at Freedom Bank, we think great banking starts with the right team. From mobile check deposits to custom loan solutions, we're ready to help you succeed so you can spend more time on the trail and less time worrying about your money. Freedom Bank, big solutions, small town heart, member FDIC.
All right, welcome back. We are the Hiking Fools. Sarah, have you been enjoying this? Because I'm looking at you here in the studio, and as you say, you just had a permagrin.
I haven't. I really haven't stopped smiling.
I don't think she's blinked. We are just listening and enjoying. Denny, thank you again for being here. And I want to run something by you too, something kind of fun. I think it was, I can't remember where it came from, but you know, the saying there, sensitive say to kill two birds with one stone, you know, accomplish a couple of different things. I've heard it changed.
How's two birds with one birdhouse?
Well, listen to this even. To feed two birds with one scone.
There you go. I like that one even better.
So we're going to run with that and be conscious of the species and how important they are to our ecosystem. And you've already kind of delved into that, you know, what part they play. But if we can go even more granular and say, Denny, what birds do you really, really appreciate, and where can we find them?
Well, for the one, I mean, there are a lot of them I want to talk about. They're just cool. But the one that's everywhere is chickadees. Everybody knows where chickadees are. They're in your yard, no matter where you live, practically. I've got nesting chickadees and I've got a little lot in town, and I had nesting mountain chickadees and nesting black-capped chickadees at the same time, and they're killing me with the cost of my mealworm feeder right now because all the babies have hatched, and it's chaos out there right now. But they're just so, I mean, they're hyper little guys and cheery and fairly unafraid of us, you know. So there's a lot of things to like about them, but the thing that's cool about them is they need about, you know, they're so hyperactive. They need, in the wintertime when it's really cold, they need about 3 times their body weight in food per day. Wow. Which is just absolutely ridiculous. That would translate to 600 Big Macs for me and you know, per day. I mean, it's nuts. It's crazy to think of that kind of an energy requirement. And, you know, because their body temperature is 107, when the nighttime comes, it gets really cold, and they can't find food because they can't see, because they're sight feeders and gleaners. So they go into a cavity, and they will lower their body temperature. They hibernate every single night. Wow. And they lower the body temperature from 107 to 88. And that's a big time drop. And then in the morning they have to shiver for about a half an hour inside the cavity to be able to function for the daytime. So they have to do that every day in the wintertime. And in the winter, black-capped chickadees actually grow their brains a little bit. The higher they live where it's colder, the bigger brains they have naturally. So they're bigger, and they have bigger brains.
I have to figure out that secret there, how to grow my brain naturally.
Would that be handy or what?
Yes. And the chickadee, of course, is a favorite of a lot of it. You know, one of the most recognizable songs, right? In the store when we cannot find each other.
Don't you do it though. Denny can interpret over 200 species of birds.
I'm not going to do it, but Sarah and I, we will be able to locate each other in the store with a chickadee call.
Like that, right?
Yes.
That was not me.
Cheeseburger. And then the mountain chickadee must be a vegetarian because it says cheese, just cheese. Cheese, just cheese. Anyway.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, you get some very nicely done.
Yeah, but they're. I mean, the other thing is things that are cool about them. The mountain chickadees actually do grow their brains 30% every winter to be able to glean faster and work faster and all that sort of thing. And it's kind of associated with, believe it or not, it's associated with estrogen production. Being able to do that, and that's my basic reason. And when you and Sarah can probably work on your relationship this way, because it's when higher estrogen means they can multitask better. So you and I, Josh, have an excuse now for not being able to multitask. And
I'll take it.
Yeah, I know. And then they just they're I mean, they're happy all the time. It sure seems like they're happy all the time, and it's pretty. When Mom is on the nest, I climbed up a tree one time when I was with some fifth graders up in northern Minnesota, and I wanted to see if I could see inside the nest because I heard pee-pee coming in and Mom and Dad going in and out of the nest, and I said, "Well, there's babies in there for sure." And so when I got up to the top and stuck my eye up to the hole, this snake started to hiss, and it tried to strike me. And I first I went potty, then I jumped out of the tree. It was a mom chickadee doing a snake act, which was her kind of protection, which was kind of cool.
My youngest and I witnessed that up in Lone Pine State Park. We were watching them go back and forth, and it was really close to the trail. So I lifted him up and I looked, and she started doing that to us.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So chickadees are one of my favorite. I also really like gray jays. It's probably one of my favorite birds. There's most of that bird family with the crows, ravens, jays, magpies are brilliant birds. They're by far the smartest birds that we have, as far as I'm concerned. And gray jays cache 25,000 pieces of insect and seed and whatever else food by pasting it with their sticky saliva to the outside of trees. And then that's what they eat during the winter. They don't have to gather food. They gather their own food that they have cached, which is pretty cool. And to have a memory that remembers 25,000 different places where you look is, somebody calls me a bird brain, I say, bring it. And so it's pretty cool what they do. The other thing that's interesting about them is in the breeding season, they will have, say, 3 chicks, and could be 4, could be 2, whatever. But let's just say that on the average, maybe 3 chicks, and one of the chicks is going to be whinier than the others and more aggressive. Now, that whininess, you've got 2 kids of your own, so you probably already are thinking about the one, right? and that whiny one is basically saying, I don't want to go to college. I want to hang around here for 45 years, and that sort of a thing. And so the mom and dad, gray jays say, all right, you can stay, but I'm kicking your brother and your sister out. And so your brother and sister, they get booted out, and they're on their own. And that one stays through the next, they're early spring nesters, like March. And so that it stays through the spring, through the summer, through the fall, through the next winter, that they travel in 3s. So when you're in the woods and you see a gray jay, stop, because there will be 2 more almost every single time. And when you get... And then they learn the ropes, obviously, how to cache food and all that sort of thing. So it's a big deal. Trade-off, they have to stay through the next season, and there are 3 adults feeding the chicks for next year's crop. So mom and dad get their payoff much later. It's like the annuity kind of a thing.
So we're still waiting for that.
Yeah,
We'll figure that out.
I'm sure that they save their stuff eventually at Parkside.
That's right. Yes. Eventually, yes, we'll get them led in the right direction.
Yeah. So the other thing about gray jays is when that one gets booted out, but the 2 little guys who get booted out, you'd think their survival rate would be really low. They go on a pilgrimage until they find an unsuccessful nesting pair, and they whine at them until they get adopted. So they are still traveling around in 3s in the summertime, and they might not even be related to each other, which is kind of interesting. The other one I really like, the critter I really like in that same family is the magpie. I mean, people say, I hate magpies. Why do you hate them? Because my daddy hated them. Well, why didn't your daddy hate them? Because my grandpa hated them. But magpies are brilliant birds. I mean, one of the things that they will do is if they find a dead elk or a dead deer in the woods, their bill cannot penetrate the skin. And so what they have to do is they have to find help. And so they fly until they find a wolf or a coyote, and they will bounce off of the head of the wolf or coyote, really ticking them off constantly and over and over again until the wolf and the coyote keep chasing him, and they lead them right back to the kill. And the wolf says, oh, that's what you're trying to tell me. And that's just brilliant, because they can hang out while the wolf tears into the flesh, and then they got a big hole where they can eat themselves when the wolf is full, so they enlist help. That's brilliant in my case.
For sure. And within Glacier National Park, where are some of the best places for the rest of us to catch a glimpse of some or any of these species?
Well, they're literally everywhere, but I really love to go on a trail, say Pagan, where you go from the bottomlands at Sahi Bend and go all the way up through the boreal subalpine forest until it gets small trees. I mean, boreal chickadees, which have a little brown cap, are cuter than heck, are way up there at the top when you're breaking out of the trees, and then you get into the alpine species like gray crown rosy finches and ptarmigans, and so there's a lot of variety when you can sample the elevation changes in the park. Yeah. But birds are everywhere.
Good point. All right. Well, Denny, we've sure enjoyed talking to you about this, listening to what you have to offer, and everyone, we've got a part 2 coming up. Denny's going to talk a little bit more about the wildlife as naturalist perspective. So look forward to that. Make sure you tune in or download the episode. And check out our Instagram page at HikingFoolsMT to see some great photos from our recent adventures. And tune in next time. Check out more episodes online. And remember to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, encouraging you to always go